Girls, LLC.
All right. Are we good? Can you guys hear us? I've been silenced this whole time.
Ooh. Were you silenced, or you're just taking a vow of silence?
Absolutely not. That would
you
never
would
happen.
never. You could, like, the quiet game between you and I.
You would win. All right.
Competitive.
Well,
here we are. I feel like I always say, here we are on the couch. If you guys are watching, you know this, but I guess if you're listening, we're just giving you some context back in Monsoon Market for season 2 of Two Valley Girls podcast.
it's been a couple months off. We haven't done any filming in maybe about 6 months.
Yeah, I think our slate said October we filmed with Rakan was our last guest here.
This was pre-St. Pasta opening. We talked a lot about his restaurant that was coming soon last October, and then now it's been open for a few months.
Mm-hmm.
We've gone and
we just had dinner there on Sunday night.
Yeah,
and
plenty of pasta I have already consumed.
I think I still have some leftovers in my fridge, actually. So
it's not a bad thing to have.
No,
so.
St. Pasta's alive and well. Phoenix is thriving.
We had a pretty bitchin' holiday season.
Hell yeah, we did.
It was our 4th Christmas here at Monsoon Market, which feels crazy to say that we've been here in this space for 4 years.
That is wild.
Well, going on 4 years now. So
yeah, holiday's so fun. Obviously we sort of had to stop filming because as a gift shop, we were really busy, and it is fun to be here for the community, to help them pick out gifts for their friends and family. A lot of people come into town during that time here because the weather is so nice and, visiting. So there was a lot of activity in the market, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of fun stuff happened. We were able to spend more time here in the market. We brought in a lot of new stuff for people to shop throughout the season. And we had like a really nice winter spring moment of just kind of like hanging out and just being here in this community. And now it's like full speed into summer, which I feel like is always a really like invigorating time. Yeah, I always feel really like inspired and excited going into summer, which maybe is surprising because summer in Phoenix is brutal. It's like not for the weak. Like the people that stick around in summer, I feel like get to reap the reward a little bit though. Like,
yeah, it's a different energy.
We're going to have fun this summer.
Yeah, we are.
We've already been up to some new stuff.
We've been up to some things, as always.
Rakan opened a new business. We were like, wait. Should we?
We can't let him be the only one.
Yeah, well, I guess we were like bored or something.
I don't know. Maybe.
Not even. I think that's like so not even the case. But being here in the plaza for 4 years, if you guys have been to Monsoon Market, you've seen the businesses that we have nearby. We're, in between Wang's Vintage, Groundwork Gym. There's a wonderful salon in the plaza and some other small businesses. But there's been this gaping space staring at us since we opened here at the market in 2021.
Yeah, right when we moved in, we noticed that there was an existing cafe in the end suite in our plaza, and that was Urban Beans.
I just feel like Urban Beans is like, there's like a lore, there's a legend to...
It was open for like 12 years.
Yeah.
There was a legend to it. It was a 24-hour cafe for a while, which is bonkers.
Like here in this neighborhood, to be operating 24 hours a day, to be a vegetarian turned vegan cafe too over the years. They hosted so many like art events, open mic nights, comedy shows, theater performances. Like they had an acting troupe that's
super, artistically connected.
Yeah, Urban Beans was like the spot for people in Phoenix who have been in this like little nook for, I don't know, the past like 15, 20 years, then you might know the name. But right after we opened Monsoon Market in November of 2021, Urban Beans announced that they were leaving in December the next month. So it was definitely like two ships like passing in the night. We were really bummed that we didn't like we weren't going to have the luxury of a local coffee shop in our plaza, which was such a selling factor.
Yes.
And it was also the reason why we decided not to do coffee in the beginning.
Right. Because most people probably know this by now. You and I met in coffee,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a coffee truck before we did Monsoon Market. So part of Monsoon Market's original business plan was to involve coffee. You know, it wasn't an essential part, but it was a, if we can, why not? You know? So
Right.
the original plans were like, you know, maybe we put a little coffee bar and a kombucha refillable station, and then this space wouldn't have allowed that with Urban Beans existing. We're like, that's okay. It's not essential to what Monsoon Market is. And so we kind of let go of that idea.
And I'm happy we did, because we evolved into being like the kind of shop that we are today at Monsoon. And we got into so many new things. I don't think we would have found natural wine if we would have gone into coffee from the jump, which the things, you know, all happened the way that they should have. But I remember even 6 months after we had opened, Urban Beans was officially gone. And we were so bummed about losing the cafe. We were like, should we do it? Like, we know coffee. We went and toured it, and we had like a serious conversation of, do we want to open another business after we just opened our first business together? Like, can we do both? And we could, but it was if we wanted to. It was massively going to change.
I love how you think we could. I was like, I don't think we could.
Hell yeah. I think we could do anything.
I know. There was just not enough resources between, like, just really even our time and energy, because we were working Monsoon Market every day. It was you and I to open, and we were still basically in that. We had one part-time employee, and there just wasn't enough bandwidth. I'm like, we can't do it. I remember standing in the space, touring it, and you're like, what do you think? I'm like, dude, like, it's just not yet.
Yeah, I was really excited about the idea of it. Like, the idea of strip mall today, name drop, I just reveal something, has been a theory and a concept in our heads since we opened Monsoon Market, basically.
Yeah, that being a coffee shop needed to exist.
It did.
It needed to exist for this neighborhood and plaza. And so
I'm happy we waited. Like,
yeah, we said no.
Every year, though, it was like a couple like deciding if they wanted to have like a baby. You know, it's like you meet up and you're like, so
one person,
are you ready? How are you feeling? You know, like, do we want another one?
Then, I was like, I'm not ready.
And then the other person's like, remember the diaper phase? I don't know.
I was trying to act like we have kids and understand.
No sleep.
I'm like, you remember the LLC phase?
You remember city permits?
You remember waiting for our C of O? Fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that. And that will give you the reason to wait, because like that's the reality of what it takes to open a business. It's expensive and it's annoying and it's frustrating.
It's exhausting.
Just like having a baby, probably.
To be real, right? It is like exhausting, and the way we did it too was really, we poured into our business, and so it was like, no, I want to be able to do that with the second one. I was like, I'm not ready yet with, you know, where we were at with Monsoon. It still needed so much of us. And it worked out perfectly. Like,
it's crazy that space waited for us too. Like, we tried to fill that space so many times. Like, those of you in Phoenix know that we were texting you, we were calling you, our friends with like coffee shops, other beverage concepts, food concepts, bagels. I called Bagel Fields and I tried to get them. I showed Chris the spot. We were calling a lot of Phoenix favorites, being like, we got this space. It's right next door to Monsoon Market.
We literally made the property management like give us some keys, and we started showing the space.
Yeah, we were like, let's check this out, you know? And it didn't work out for whatever reason, money, timing, you know, nothing ever solidified a space, you know, over there. So here we are nearly 4 years later, and it was still open. And we're sitting on this couch right here with Christian from Groundwork, who also used to work with us in coffee a decade ago. And we were just all so fed up and frustrated that there was nowhere to get like a little coffee in the afternoon. We were like, should we just take Michelle's like Marzocco and just go put it in there? Like, we should just start squatting in the space.
Just like secretly making coffee, you know, like just by us for us kind of.
Yeah, we were like, buy the strip mall for the strip mall. And we were like, Wait, strip mall's kind of like iconic.
That
like,
really like hits for a Phoenix business. Like
Yeah.
all cool Phoenix hole in the walls are in strip malls.
And we were genuinely like, Christians, like, I'll fill in some shifts there. And me and Misha, like, we want to make coffee again. And, it just like, I'll put something in our minds where we were like, for the first time, we were thinking that we were ready to actually do that. Like, that seemed like something we could do again, is go make coffee 5 days a week while this business existed.
Yeah, we weren't in here as much anymore. Like, we had 2 like full-time employees. You and I were not really essential to the day-to-day. And we're like, we could actually now consider that.
Totally. And since that moment, I remember I pulled out my computer literally in that moment and made a mock logo, and it said strip mall coffee in Times New Roman, had 5 stars, and a quote that said surprisingly good. And that just became like this concept where we were like, strip malls in Phoenix are surprisingly good. You find amazing things in your local strip mall, like Monsoon Market, like Wang's Vintage, like Groundwork Gym, And so the list goes on in Phoenix. You'll pull up to like some of the most popular businesses and be like, really?
Like, this is where it's at?
Yeah.
Linger Longer Lounge? Like,
shout out, another great strip mall spot.
Yeah, in a corner of a strip mall.
In the corner of a strip mall. They're so unassuming. And people walk in here and they're like,
dude, even we just went to Atlas Bistro. Great fine dining, white tablecloth restaurant. Where is it? In a strip mall.
Crazy, right? Like, you're dropping like prefix menu prices. You're in a strip mall. And I loved it.
That's Phoenix.
I loved it.
That's what's up.
That's what's up. We're going to be saying that more.
Right. So we're like, okay, we want just basic ass coffee too. Like, really good, surprisingly good, like drip coffee. Why can't I pop into most coffee shops in Phoenix? Like, no shade, but get a good quality drip coffee, that some like well done, stripped down menu drinks, because Phoenix does have a lot of coffee shops, right? Like, they're everywhere and they're crushing it, especially in the specialty drinks category. Like, we've got some really cool things going on with, house-made flavors and well-built specialty drinks. But then I think what we're missing now is that stripped down, like in and out kind of coffee basics.
Really accessible coffee shop.
Yeah. In this area, like
absolutely.
There's nothing right here on 7th Street that's filling that need. And so we really saw like that needs to be a coffee shop, and we could see what kind of coffee shop it needed to be.
Yeah, and like the strip mall menu, it really is like so straightforward. It's like your hot drip, your cold brew, your latte, we have really great matcha.
Really good matcha.
And our flavors are featuring, some of our favorite syrups that we've been selling here at Monsoon that Michelle used on the early bird when you were doing your truck. And they're still our favorites today. And so we were able to, create some fun options, but keep it really simple of just like, build your drink the way that you want to, but we're not going to try to really dazzle you with our specialty drink menu, but we're going to try and create like a comfortable space with really high quality coffee.
Exactly.
And have some fun. Like, being able to have a coffee shop, it opens up like a space. It's a venue. It's a gathering spot. It's, for me, this like crossover between what's already here in the strip mall. It's like you see clients from the salon and customers from the gym.
So fun.
And the vintage people, and the Monsoon customers. They're all crossing over in the coffee shop.
I think what needed to happen was us taking over the coffee shop, because we saw that Monsoon became such a hub for people, and they wanted things out of this space that we couldn't really provide them anymore. Like you said, that is an event space, really. Like, yes, we opened a coffee shop, but it is more than that. Like, strip mall is a third space. It's going to be all different kinds of things. Essentially, it's starting as a coffee shop.
Yeah.
But it's an extension of Monsoon and a sister business where we're able to do way more even than we were doing here.
It's so fun. It's we've already done a handful of things. Some parties.
Maybe a different story. Yeah, a different time we'll tell that story.
You guys should be paying attention though, because we are like having fun at strip malls.
We are having fun.
Tap in. We're not trying to be like all razzle dazzle on Instagram either, I'll say, on this business.
If you're following at Strip Mall PHX, you will see that the marketing like rollout for Strip Mall is quite different. Also very
simple.
stripped down.
Stripped down. Yeah, you know, like just we'll see.
Yeah, we opened a coffee shop as fast as we could, right? Like we blitzed it. We went in there, we're like, let's open as fast as fucking possible and we'll roll it out as we go. Kind of like we did with Monsoon.
It felt so similar. Like, of course we were going to do the second business just as we did the first one. We had some learning lessons that like we were able to take that knowledge with us forward. But, you know, we got the keys November 1st, or no, we got the keys November 1st and we opened February 17th officially. And that's not that long of a time period during a holiday season to try and get your business open. But it's like, hey, when that free rent runs up, you better be making some money.
Absolutely.
You know, so we learned that the first go around. We had to do it the second time around because although we had talked about the idea of opening a coffee shop, we were not like planning to open a coffee shop.
Correct.
We hadn't like built a nest egg that we could, you know, put into a new business intentionally. Like we were able to bootstrap this business and we wanted to bootstrap the second one as well. And we fucking did.
Yeah.
You know, we got this space that really just needed to be cleaned up. No structural changes to the building. Best way to open a coffee shop? Take over a previous coffee shop.
Yeah,
like if you have little
there.
money. Yeah, exactly. Like all the electrical, all the plumbing, it's set up to pass city coding and permitting much easier, which that's not the cutesy part of opening a brick and mortar, but it's the real important part.
Yeah, that takes the longest. It's like waiting on them. It's not, you know, everyone's like, oh, if you don't have to do a lot of work, you can open quickly. Yes, once the government allows you to.
Totally.
There's a lot of different inspections and permits that you have to go through before they can sign off on you opening your doors officially. And so, you know, that's just like kind of something out of the control of the business owner, which is really hard once, like you said, rent comes up.
While we were doing all of that, though, I feel like we were trying to get as far as we could in every other area so that when we got that green stamp of approval that we could operate, we're like, great, we're making money the next day.
Yeah, we were ready to go. We
got furniture.
We were
got
trained
everything.
up with employees. You know, we're ready.
Us.
We trained ourselves.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun, though. I felt like super inspired the same way I did when we were opening Monsoon to create this vision of the space. And we have a lot of like wonderful people who, you know, reached out and like we talked to you about design for the space. And like it was the same way with this one where like if we had the money, it would have been awesome to collaborate with a design firm.
I know.
Here in Phoenix.
We're so lucky to know multiple design firms and like shout out to them because everyone extended like, you know, an olive branch and that was really nice. Again, bootstrapped budget. We're like, we literally have barely enough money to open it.
Yeah.
So like, you know, we don't have the opportunity to work with them, but the community really shows up when you say you're going to do something. And like, that's really heartwarming.
No, 100%. It was so fun to have those conversations with people about like, yeah, what do you think we should do in here? You know, like, what do we want it to feel like? And I just hit Facebook Marketplace.
Oh my God, you're
again,
so good at it.
Like so
Secret
hard.
talent.
I will say, okay, actually, the first piece of furniture that we purchased for Strip Mall were these 1970s soft tech chairs.
Yeah.
And a local vintage curator, Underwater Disco, had a set of 6 of these, like maybe once red had faded to pink. Who knows? They look pink. 1970s soft tech chairs. I think designed by this guy named David. I'll have to double check, but they were so cool. We did a photo shoot at Underwater Studios with these chairs and we were just so like, oh, these are awesome. Like we would do something with them if we only had a need, you know? And then once we got into the coffee shop, we were like, wait, those chairs, like we hadn't stopped thinking about those chairs. And they definitely were not cheap chairs, but we worked a really great deal and were able to take those 6. And then I found another 10 in Tucson from a different vintage store.
That's crazy.
Had them, you know, match the price I already paid, of course, because, you know, I'm
She's
hustling.
a negotiator.
I'm hustling on Facebook Marketplace. I'm coming for you in the DMs. And so now we had 16 of these 1970s fucking chairs that just were like the best first piece for the space. I built a whole vision board around those chairs.
Yep.
And it totally came together at Strip Mall, just like we did when we made the vision board here.
Kind of around the couch.
Around the couch.
Basically.
And this table.
Yeah.
You know? So We got the chairs. We got some tables that were real cheap from somebody.
The one big chair in the corner, that's a fun story. The big comfy chair that everybody immediately is drawn to.
We have this big leather corner chair, which every coffee shop needs a big cozy chair,
Absolutely,
I think, right?
At least one.
It's like the throne. Who's gonna get it?
Mm-hmm.
And it's this like light brown leather with this cobalt blue. It's such a cool chair. And it happened to be right around the corner from the market. I was like, perfect, I'll just go pick this up. I get there, super sweet girl. It won't fit in my car. And so she offers to drive it to Strip Mall for me. And so we shoved this chair, it's giant, in the back of her Subaru, which how that worked, I have no idea how we got it in there.
Physics weren't.
She helped me carry it inside the coffee shop. And it was just like so sweet because we threw a party a couple weeks later that was kind of like a secret location. So her and her friends came to this party not realizing that it was at the coffee shop. And so her and her friends were like, wait, is that the chair? And she's like, oh my God, it's my chair.
And now she can like come to the coffee shop and sit in her chair.
Her and her friends come and they like work from the coffee shop and like they get to enjoy the chair that was too big for their space, but is now living at the coffee shop.
It's so cute.
Yeah, it is so cute. Like that was a good find for sure.
Mm-hmm.
My other favorite find is our bar stools.
Oh yeah, everybody likes the bar stools.
We have this huge built-in bar thanks to Urban Beans because they were really like makers. They built like anything out of steel and concrete.
Yeah, it's like a concrete top and like industrial looking steel based huge countertop bar, and it has electrical in it, which is awesome because people pull up on their laptops and they want to sit there and they want to work for a while. So we're always saying if we get bar stools for this, they have to have backs.
You gotta be comfortable.
Yeah, you gotta be comfy.
And I was like really having a hard time finding bar stools that matched. I was open to mix match, but for this like huge bar, and after like literally a month probably of looking, I found this guy in PV had, what is there, 12 or 10, I think, of these bar stools?
8 or 10.
Yeah, maybe 8 or 10. But they're these hydraulic Copenhagen design bar stools from basically the year 2000. And it's like this steel and this dark green, and it has a black back on it.
They're cool.
They're so cool. And he let me take one to go bring it back here to see if it fit, like size-wise. And then it did, and so I went back and got the rest of them for a price I don't even want to say because it's like unfair. I feel like I like robbed this nice gentleman. But him and his wife custom built their house in the year 2000, and these were their bar stools that were super expensive when they bought them, he said. And they were just like, wanted to get something that was like lighter,
more modern,
yeah, like lighter weight and easier to like handle.
Yeah, they're kind of heavy.
They're kind of heavy duty. And so anyways, we scored on those. Like,
how much did you pay for
them? $200 for all of them. For all of them.
That's a steal.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
But that's how we do it.
You know what?
Like,
that's how you DIY opening a business, though, you know?
Because, I mean, it's insane. If you were to go to, like, just log on to Restaurant Depot or Restaurant Warehouse or whatever, and, like, look at the price of commercial restaurant furniture.
Yeah.
No wonder people think they can't open a business, you know? Like
100%. Like, it would be so easy to go into debt immediately with, like, your first purchase.
Yep.
And once you do that, though, it's like you're already operating out of this, like, deficit. And I love that we both have the mindset of like do the most with what you can. And it doesn't mean you have to make sacrifices all the time for the way that you want it to look.
No, I think it ends up being cooler because then like look at the conversation around the chairs and how fun they are and like how great it looks. People like to sit in them. They're comfy too.
Yeah.
And they're surprised. I sit down and I'm like, wow. Robin, our friend, sat there and worked for 4 hours on the chair. And she's like, that's comfy.
That's a true testament
like,
to like a good chair.
Yeah.
Another one of my favorite stories is all of the pots for the plants that we have around the shop. You know, we knew we wanted to have a lot of plants in the space because the light is awesome in there. And our friend Izzy has her own plant care and curation company called Atrium. And so she was really excited to do some pieces for us, but to save money, of course, we wanted to thrift or find some pots.
Yep.
We wanted big pots too. And I went to Tucson for a day and went thrifting and picked up some other stuff. And I found this gentleman, older gentleman, who had massive cactus gardens. His whole front, side, backyard was like all gardens. And he had so many pots and he was, you know, letting them go for some of them pretty cheap, some of them not so much, but I took a big lot of them. And so I got a good deal on the pots too, but he was just such a nice old guy. And
you didn't rip him off though.
No, he had a bit more of like a stern, backbone. He used to be a cop.
Oh,
yeah. I think I was wearing like a pot t-shirt or something. And he like said something about it. And I was like, I'm not going to get into it. Yeah. I'm like, little does he know. I got a green thumb too.
It's like when you wore your Bernie Sanders shirt on Fox News. That was one of my favorite things ever.
Yeah, that was intentional. They never called us again.
Yes, they did.
I'm just kidding, they did. And then you wore the cone. I wore the cone shirt.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, good times.
Good times. Anyway.
Yeah, no, this space is like, it's come together in such a cool way of, the original inspiration was a very like postmodern kind of internet cafe, teacher's lounge, but still like contemporary art in a way.
There's also those art prints that we found. That was like one of the first visual, sort of like inspiration things that we found. Where did we find those? Those are just Goodwill.
White Dove for $5. Yeah.
Yeah.
I found
these. So there's these red framed art prints. That's like a woman drinking a coffee. And what's the other one? Just a coffee cup?
Yeah.
And they're like very contemporary yellows and reds and purple. And then at the bottom of it says made in Adobe Illustrator. And the guy's name.
Yeah.
Like they're so proud of the technology at that point that they had to put made with Adobe Illustrator on it.
Right.
It's so funny.
It is so funny. And then the one where she's drinking the coffee, it says, ooh.
That's right.
Coffee.
That's right. I love that.
I love it.
We need to find somewhere to hang those, but that was kind of one of the first. It was like finding those, the backsplash that already exists in strip mall, and it's all this like little silver or stainless steel tiles. It didn't look so cute when we first looked at it, but if you kind of, if you have the vision and we repainted, now all of a sudden it looks like a disco ball backsplash. People are like, oh, you guys did that? Like on purpose? We're like, not at all.
I'm like, yeah, thank you. I love the disco tile too.
It just came together. And I didn't think of it like that at first, but.
Not at all. Yeah. You never know what your space is going to turn into. Also with time, like look at Monsoon now.
It did not look like this.
And 3 years ago, it looked so different and sparse kind of, we really grew into the space. You move in with nothing and with little money, and then you sell a few things and you get more money and then you buy more things to sell and then you get more money, and then you just.
That small business, right.
Literally, that is like the definition, is not being ready and just like spit out for the world to enjoy, know?
Yeah. I like the way we do it. Obviously, that's the way we do it. But rather than have this really beautiful, like done space where we like had a grand opening, that was not the way we went with it. We rolled it out slow and like, we're already throwing parties. We don't need a grand opening party.
Yeah. It's always grand.
Every day is grand.
It's literally
Guess
always
what? We're
grand.
open every day and every day
Come
is grand.
by. Like, come to the strip mall. I know my coffee. I got a
What'd you get?
triple shot caramel latte today.
Ooh.
Oh,
I drip.
Mommy sippy cup.
Mommy sippy cup. Mommy sippy cup might need a refill though soon.
I mean, I could slam this and get something else. Or I want maybe like a matcha or tea or something.
Dude, our matcha slaps.
Pistachio
matcha.
I wake up in the morning like.
So you did actually kind of make that happen. When I had the early bird coffee truck, I was making matchas with the Mizuba matcha we have now that we also sell here at Monsoon because it's so good. Shout out Lauren, who has great matcha.
Yeah.
And you were in Seattle, which is usually ahead of the coffee kind of curve. And you text me and you go, you have to figure out how to get pistachio into a latte.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I do. So I started making pistachio syrup and trying all the different pistachios that were available, found the perfect one. But then it was the matcha that took off. I started serving pistachio oat milk matchas. And I was just like, something about that drink. And now, luckily, we can do that at Strip Mall. And it's the same thing. Like, that is the drink, it seems like, of Strip Mall is a pistachio matcha.
It is. We don't have, specialty drink menu, but we've got Strip Mall recommendations.
Oh, we got favorites.
We do, for sure.
I do play favorites.
Yeah.
With my drinks.
Absolutely. All right, well.
Should we go?
We should walk over there.
Take
also,
the
market's going to open soon, so we should get out of here.
Let's go. Do.
Two Valley Girls LLC.
Thanks for tuning in to the Two Valley Girls LLC podcast, presented by Monsoon World. Please subscribe to our Monsoon World YouTube page and follow Two Valley Girls LLC on Instagram, TikTok, and Spotify. Thank you to our sponsors and collaborators. Until next time, Phoenix and beyond.